How's it going, everybody? Rye right here today, and we are back with your Boston Red Sox here, ready to get the offseason started in 2026, gonna be 2027. And so far, we've been okay. We haven't gotten over the hump. We were this close in the last one where, yes, you guys saw a full playoffs. I think next time I will cut the playoffs down per series, maybe, or maybe I'll do 2 series. If we're a wild card team, I'll probably do that and the divisional. But I think the divisional, the conference, like the ALDS, the ALCS, and the World Series, should we make it, they should all be different episodes. I know that some of you like the longer episodes, but I don't think it's necessarily fair from a YouTuber's perspective to require that you guys watch 2 hours worth of one episode just to keep up with the series. So I'd rather stagger it for you guys. I know you guys are busy people just like myself. But taking a look at our GM goals and where we have been, this is the end of season number 4. We're gonna be heading into season number 5. As you guys can see, we missed the playoffs in year 1, which was kind of expected. In year 2, we made the playoffs with 90 wins, lost in the wild card. Then the following year, in year 3, we also had 90 wins and lost in the wild card again. But finally this year we hit 100 wins and we made it to the World Series but lost. So heading into season 5 coming up, there's a lot of stuff that can still change. I'm surprised it's only still season number 5. That's kind of crazy to me, but I digress. We're going to jump into the offseason, guys. I know I had some contentious opinions about Shohei, and I probably didn't utilize him enough in the last series, but his playoff performances just haven't been good enough in my mind. He did have a better playoffs this season than he has had in the other 2 that we've made it, but still, I think it's going to be one of those. I'm going to keep him for this year, unless something like we absolutely like put him on the block and somebody gives us an absolute haul for him and I can cut the payroll and we can keep everybody and pay everybody, and oh, it could get exciting. So plan is to keep him. We will see in just a second here what the plan is. Our first base coach, third base coach, and farm director need re-signing. We'll also take a look at the free agents and exclusive negotiations we have. So let's go ahead and jump into that right now. So first things first, guys, I came in to check the budget just to see, like, okay, you know, it wouldn't tell me all last season how much money we were going to have this year and blah, blah, blah. We have 72 million in projected surplus. Garrett Whitlock, get in here. Come on, we're bringing you back. He wants to be an ace. I know he's not going to be an ace. I'll tell him he's going to be an ace. It shouldn't affect him that much, but I will give him 80 million over 5 years. That'll get him till he's 35. He wants a little less for 4 years. I might do the 4 years, the 16 mil a year for 4 years. I think 16 mil a year for 4 years is kind of like the sweet spot for him. He definitely has that build where he can bump back into the bullpen or easily be traded at the end of his this contract. So I'm absolutely I think I might front load this contract. Is it worth it? It would cut an extra 3 million out this year, but as he gets older, it might be easier to stomach trading him and keeping him around. So I am going to front load it, I think, because we have 72 million in surplus. So there we go. There's the offer for him. Harrison Bader, I know you guys in the comments said you were a fan of him. I'm just looking at the regression from the hitting standpoint and the fact that he's 32 and the fact that not that one. If we take a look at the outfielders, right, we got Brian Reynolds in right. We've got Pete Crow Armstrong, Dante Gutierrez, Verdugo, and Dominique Paniagua, right? That's what, 5 did I just mention? Gutierrez would make it 6, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have 4, but going out and getting a premier outfielder could be in the cards, right? We can move Brian Reynolds back to his natural position in center, who is also on the decline here. We have a pretty big contract handed his way, so maybe another guy that in a year or 2, we could start shedding a ton of contracts here. But I think I'd like to let Bader walk. I think he's been good, but not good enough to keep. His batting average was .214 this year. OPS under 600, over 100 strikeouts. This was an absolutely catastrophic failure for Bader this season. I mean, just pretty poor. I mean, worst WAR we've seen. He's on the decline. His runs created took another dip. Don't think I'm going to want to bring him back for the 7-8 million he's going to want. I'd rather continue to leave the space open for the youngsters. Pete Alonso, we've already talked about. He had a great season. Oh my God, he had such a good season. Is he going to repeat that kind of season though? 990 OPS, right? Is he going to repeat this kind of season? Or is it finally time to bring up guys like let Mac Jackson be the starter? Let Tristan Casas play in the... I mean, Tristan Casas is... I mean, his hitting stats are pretty darn good. I actually think he's better against righties than Mac Jackson is. Yes, is the question. The vision and the discipline. The discipline's better and the clutch is better for Casas. I don't know. I guess we'll see, but I did say I wanted to turn it over to the youngsters. Casas hasn't got, what, 2 years left on his deal? Yeah, this season and next season, so I'm totally fine with that. I know we could pay Pete. It's one of those that I could offer him a contract. What does he want? He's looking for 13, 15 mil a year. I'm not going to give that to an aging Pete Alonso, I don't think. He was really good, though. Like, this past season, like, he just put it all together. The best season he's had in his career is what it's looking like. So, I think I'm going to make the tough decision to turn it over to the youngsters, maybe beef up the outfield a bit more. I think that's the plan. So we have made it to free agency 1. I'm still waiting for Whitlock to respond to my contract offer. I bumped it up. I believe it was 64 million. I think I'm offering him 68 million now over 4 years. I think, yeah, hold on. He should be one of the offers. Yeah, there we go. 68 million over 4 years. It's another 1 million per year. Again, our surplus of 70 million, and it kind of throws all the all the Shohei trade talk out the window. There's Tariq Skubal. He had a, how did he do? 4.33 ERA. He did not have the best year, although his WAR was pretty high. His FIP was great, so it wasn't really him. It wasn't his fault. It was the, I believe the Pirates who we traded him to. Their defense must have been pretty poor. But now it's time to take a look at what we need. Taking a look at trade talks. Really, it is center field. And I kind of noticed a center fielder that had an A potential down there somewhere. But we're 5th in first baseman, 6th in right, 5th at second. I don't know why I'm looking at it this way. Our starting pitching is the best. Our relief pitching is the best. And our catcher is 7th, right? Ooh, that's one. That's right. That was one that I wanted to potentially move on from Sean Murphy. And I think it's kind of a no-brainer here, guys. You're not really losing too much. Just the arm, really, with Henry Davis. I mean, the reaction, the fielding's negligible, but the reaction in the arm is what I'm losing. But I get better vision, better contact, right? So we're going to probably have a better batting average for a guy like Henry Davis, and that allows our young guys of Henry Davis and Diego Cartaya to continue to grow and develop. And listen, I don't need the cap space the budget space I would get from trading away Sean Murphy, but at 12.2 million for another 2 years, he is regressing. I want to give Henry Davis playing time, seeing what I could get for him. I probably could get some pretty attractive looking prospects like Reynaldo Rodriguez there. I mean, look, the Rays don't want to really trade him in division, but I'll probably look around for, I was gonna be like, holy smokes, this is a great deal. No, Tigers, I do not want 30-year-old players. Thank you. I'll probably look around for some prospects. I know I can filter that. I'm just kind of flipping through right now to see if we can get somebody that can help now and then maybe in the future. But, you know, this Rays, Reynaldo Rodriguez, this first baseman they have honestly looks pretty good at 63, already has power. I don't really want to trade Sean Murphy in division, but you know, we'll see. I'll find a trade and then I'll pop back in. All right, so I have to say that this trade is kind of funny. The Athletics popped up with the best prospect that they were willing to give me, and it's Alfonso Valley here, a closing pitcher who I can turn into a reliever, a left-handed relief pitcher of some type, whether he's a closer or reliever, to be determined, but he's got a potential at just 18. He's already 67. They're willing to give him to me with this left fielder. Where is he? Barrett Lopez, this 19-year-old left fielder who's got great speed, very durable, solid contact, clutch vision. I mean, like, this guy will be fine in AA, AAA, and all it's going to cost me extra is Julio Carvajal and Pablo Sosa, two guys that are in their 20s, in the 40s, and yeah, I think they had like upper 80s potential, like 86-ish area. But I mean, to get just a solid prospect upgrade in Valley and Lopez, that's insane. Pablo Sosa up to Lopez. Yeah, we're not getting anything to help the roster now, but we don't need it, right? And I kind of find it funny to send Sean Murphy back to Oakland, who have continued to not be good. Oh my God, their best players in 80. I'm so sorry for what I'm about to do to Sean Murphy, but Alfonso Valley and Barrett Lopez, welcome to the Boston Red Sox. So there we go. We've made the trade for Sean Murphy, who now becomes their best player. And oh my goodness, can they afford it? All right, guys, I am going to offer Henry Davis a 4-year, $27 million contract that pays him $6.8 per year, which is essentially half, not a little bit more than half, but half of what we were paying Sean Murphy. And we're going to probably get comparable contract or comparable play. I could offer him salary arbitration. What is he gonna want? Oh, I'll give you 2.3 easily. I don't see how he doesn't accept the 27 million over 4 years. That kind of makes a no-brainer to me. John Schreiber is a guy that I think I'm just gonna let walk. He didn't play almost at all for us this year. Now, he was great when we called him up. To be fair, he was awesome, but he is declining. So instead, we're going to go talk to Pete Crow Armstrong, who's going to want a 4-year deal. I mean, he'll be 29 at the end of this deal, but I mean, I think it makes sense to give him $4 million a year over 4 years to be, I mean, he wants to be an everyday player. Is he going to be an everyday outfielder for us? I'm not sure, considering we're going to have quite a bit in cash, right? 28 million, right? Makes it about 54 million. Whew, quick math. 54 million in projected surplus after Henry Davis and Pete Crow Armstrong. We still have to tender all of these contracts. Giancarlo Ramirez, I can't believe, oh my God, only wants $1.5 million a year. Yeah, he was in the bullpen last year, and I mean, it was pretty good. I think I'd like to bring him back for as long as I can. I think he's going to continue to grow, even if he continues to be a bullpen arm. He's not got velocity or control, but he's got the stamina, the hits per 9 and the Ks per 9. I mean, he simulates well, right? That's the important part. And I think for 4 years, get him until he's 26, I think that's a no-brainer of a deal. I'm not going to chintz out on it. I'm not too worried about it. There were years where we were a lot closer to the cap than that, but I'm going to go through and offer everybody a contract here. The long, tedious part that I know you guys don't want to sit through, so I will catch up with you guys after I've suffered through it. All right, guys, I took care of that, and we're going to be sitting with just under 43 million of surplus remaining. Plenty of room for us to get something done. Taking a look at the outfielders available. Jazz Chisholm is available. He's one of the first guys that pops up. Pretty solid seasons from him. Really good WAR, actually. Runs created is solid as well. He'd probably be an upgrade. I mean, the fielding's pretty good. The speed is great. It's just the hitting against lefties, although we don't see too many lefties. Generally, also, he's got qualifying offer made, which I believe means we'd have to give up a pick. Dalton Varsho is just qualified. Now, he's a great fielder, doesn't really have much of an arm, can also play catcher, interestingly enough, and we would be taking him away from the Toronto Blue Jays after his most successful season yet. His runs created is increased pretty much all but 1 year. He's bounced back and recovered from then. His WAR is phenomenal. He just looks like that kind of player with the stuff against righties, the vision, discipline, clutch. Great fielder, great accuracy, great reaction, average speed. So maybe something to keep an eye on there. Randy Arozarena. A lot of really interesting players out there. Eloy Jimenez, if I'm looking for just a bat, that could be one. There's Harrison Bader. We know him. He's a very good fielder. It's just lacking the bat. So I'm wondering if a guy like Varsho, who has been hitting above average pretty much every season. No, I should say has hit above average every season. 30 home runs-ish. Yeah, this guy could be a phenomenal get. Out in right field, there's not really anybody else that looks, I mean, awesome. We've seen what Trace Thompson can do. I think Dalton Varsho might be the guy I go after here. What is he looking for? He's looking for a 5-year deal at $20 million per year. I definitely could do that. I could offer that to him, right? And that would probably be the number one offer that he's got. I wonder if there's anybody else out there that can play in the outfield. I'm just looking around at the best free agents available now. Andres Jimenez, very good second baseman. However, we already have Gavin Lux at second base, and I'm satisfied there. He is a 91 overall here, though, Andres Jimenez. So somebody we could end up going after. Is Pete Alonso. We could just bring him back. His overall is going up. I mean, for 1 year, he wants even less now. Only $15 million for a year. I think we could do it and have a really, really rock solid. I mean, oh man, he's batted above average. His OPS, finally. I mean, I shouldn't say finally. He absolutely clobbered it this season. So letting him walk. Although I really just want to see what Casas can do. We could upgrade our catcher, Alejandro Kirk. Wow, the Blue Jays always seem to be flirting with, just on the edge of disaster before free agency. But we could go after a relief pitcher of Brian Abreu's stature. He looks insane. His ERC is crazy, and he would be just a massive upgrade in the bullpen, but we don't necessarily need it. I was satisfied with the bullpen. We have the best bullpen. Then I want to go after Skubal, Peralta, Rogers, Tristan McKenzie, right? We're growing enough players. Garrett Whitlock should accept our contract too. I want to retain him as much as cool as it would be to get rid of him and go after Tristan McKenzie, who I think is coming off of a Cy Young caliber season. Cy Young caliber. Did he win it? I can't remember. But certainly could be an option there. I really think I'm just going to go after Dalton Varsho to play center. Is that crazy with the arm only a 68? I mean, the fielding and the accuracy and the reaction, that should be good enough for me, really, to be playing center field. I don't necessarily, man. We could shuffle it around, but I think as far as like what he can do against righties, especially, I wonder. Hold on, what was his stats against lefties? Was it? Oh, I don't get to see that, of course. But it cracked the 100 runs created. I think Randy Arosarena's slightly better of a hitter. I mean, especially against lefties, not nearly as powerful against righties, and definitely not as good of a hitter. He's also 32. Like I said, if I'm looking for bats, Eloy Jimenez, but I think Dalton Varsho will make that offer. We'll do actually, I think, oh, wow, whoa, he wants nothing. I will give you $20 million for 2 years, Dalton, because I feel like that would be money in my opinion. So then that still leaves us, with another 21, 20, 22, 23, somewhere in that range. I don't want to overspend too much, but another 20 million available to do things. And I don't really want to just spend it to spend it, because I'm pretty satisfied with the roster. Taking a look here, our starting rotation of Shohei, Cease, Melendez, Cabrera, Ash. I mean, Giancarlo Ramirez, we're extending him. He might be in the bullpen. And Whitlock's not even included in here. Whitlock is going to be here too. Ohtani, Cease, Melendez, Cabrera, Ash, Whitlock, Ramirez, Ted Towers is coming up. Maddox Bruns is not coming up, but Connor Vaughn can come up eventually. I mean, do I want to get rid of Edward Cabrera? He had a decent enough season. He's never really flashed into that, that player with the potential that we thought he would. I mean, he did have a positive WAR, which was good, but I'd still like to play Marshall Ash as much as possible. He didn't pitch in last year, which is crazy. But he's been good every season. Oh yeah, that's right. Because of Whitlock, I think he was bumped out of the starting rotation because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so he was bumped out of the starting rotation. So Ash never saw any action last year, which is crazy in the majors, I should say. So I think, if anything, I would trade Edward Cabrera later in the offseason just so we can open up another spot in the starting rotation, because Steve Melendez, one of our own, Dylan Cease, he's been here for ages, $19 million for another couple of years. And then Shohei, obviously you guys know we have him through 2033. So starting pitching is fine. I was happy with Houck, Alcala, Swanson, Almonte, Loizaga. They were all great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's 5 relievers. And then we had our closer in Josh Hader, who's 32. So maybe something to look out for is that he's starting to get up there in age. But as far as a reliever is concerned, I'm not worried about him at 32. Our catchers, Henry Davis, Diego Cartaya. First baseman, Mac Jackson and Tristan Casas. I'm fine with that, honestly. Gavin Lux at second. Rafael Devers at third, Bo Bichette, Marcelo Mayer at short, left field Verdugo, Dominique Paniagua. At center, we could have Pete Crow Armstrong and Dalton Varsho. And then in right, we've got Brian Reynolds. That fills my requirement of 5 outfielders. I think probably what I want to do next is go after a utility infielder, right? Some second baseman that can play third and first or something like that. Because I know, if taking a look here, I believe Tristan Casas can play third and Mac Jackson play third. And so we really need a guy that can back up the middle infield like Marcelo Mayer cannot. He's close to being ready to do something, but not quite there. So I think I'd like to get a second baseman that can play pretty much anyway. So I'll find some guy that I think has really good underlying that might be slept on, but I don't expect us to use all of this budget. One thing I do want to check here is taking a look at the overalls. Who is expiring next year? Tanner Houck would expire and need a big contract. Marshall Ash is definitely going to ask for a bigger contract. Giancarlo Ramirez, we can just renew. Henry Davis, we are offering a contract. Both of those guys are getting contracts. We've got Pete Crow Armstrong is getting a contract. Why do people keep... What is happening? That's weird. Jonathan Loizaga is expiring, but we're going to hopefully grow guys like Aaron Luke, Archie Cox into those relief spots. Dante Gutierrez is renewable. Yeah, all these guys. Really, I'm not too concerned about the guys expiring. I don't know if I want to keep going after big money players because I could. I think for this season, we'll try and turn it over to the kids, let them have a season, and if we hit any rough patches, we know we can always have the budget to trade for somebody. All right, big news real quick. Henry Davis is going to sign the $27 million contract over a 4-year period. We avoid arbitration there. Giancarlo Ramirez accepts his $6 million over 4 years, and Mari Garcia does as well. So things are shaping up there, and I finally got the coaching staff all set. So one thing that you guys know, I've been trying to balance off between, you know, some coaches have really like Tim Koo, great plate vision, great clutch, but the -1 home runs per 9 is offset by Robbie Suarez is +2 home runs per 9. So looking at the farm director, I got +1 clutch, +3 contact, +1 velocity, and +1 reaction. Really, there's nothing to do about that. I mean, -3 or +3 contact is going to be fantastic. Here you can see our third base coach, Vince Newby, -2 durability, but gets +3 stealing and +2 speed, as well as +1 reaction. And then David Vogelsong to counteract that durability hit is gonna completely do it himself. Also gets a +1 speed, so there's +3 speed. The -1 stealing means this is only a +2 stealing, but still pretty darn good. And then here you can see the +3 arm accuracy is just a little sweetener on top. So I think our team, the boost from our coaching staff is top tier. And then you know, obviously the players agree with that. I wish, can I extend Tim Koo? No, I have to. Okay. I wish you could like extend contracts. That'd be cool. That'd be nice. I'd like to do that so I don't forget who we freaking have as our coaches. More big news here, guys. Garrett Whitlock is going to sign the 4-year, $68 million contract, so he is back in the picture. There you go. There he is. You can see him there. Again, Edward Cabrera, probably the guy on the outside looking in with that really low walks per 9, honestly. His pitching clutch is good. It may be a reliever, but walks per 9 really bad. So I'd like to give Marshall Ash a bit more run this year, get him some opportunities more so than the long relief spot, because we'd have Shohei, Cease, Whitlock, Melendez, Ash. I really want Ash pitching. He's only pitched, 38 career innings for us, and he's gotten better every year. He's an 84 overall now, and I honestly think that it's finally his turn I mean, he's 21, and I think he's ready to be a major league starter. So, guys, Edward Cabrera's time as a Red Sox is looking like it's done. I kind of floated him out there, see what kind of offers I would get, and the fact that we can get Ray Thomason, a 19-year-old relief pitching prospect who's already a 68, right? He's already 9 points off of our worst relief pitcher at just 19, by the way. And we also get Nelson Matos, an 18-year-old who is 60 overall. That's big. I try to find prospects who are already in the 60s because they generally have good stats. We'll take a closer look at them here in a second, but the 156 salary and just the fact that these guys are so young, beat potential. And Edward Cabrera, I don't know. He's been fine. He's not really an A potential. He looks better to the game on paper than I think he's actually simulated or performed. So I think this trade just makes sense. So Ray Thomason and Nelson Matos from the Tigers are the guys we want to go after. Ray Thomason here, you can see, is already the Tigers' 5th best reliever. He looks really well-rounded, honestly. The good home runs per 9, pitching clutch, I'd like to see improve a bit, but you can see he is growing very nicely. Strong velo, 95-mile-per-hour fastball, a slider, and a changeup. So if we ever get a chance to play with Ray Thomason, it will be just fine. And then a shortstop, which is a position that I always want to keep the pipeline stocked. He can play pretty much any position. Wow. Speed off the charts. Fielding pretty good. Bat contact is his best attribute, but needs to improve. The bat is really where he needs to improve. But I think this is a deal that makes sense. I think the Tigers, they're trying to load up on that starting rotation. They've got Brandon Woodruff, Casey Mize, Matt Manning, Jackson Jobe. I mean, they got a pretty solid rotation, but to get another 85 for some players that, you know, they can't wait. They can't afford to wait for these guys to develop. So I think another year or two of Edward Cabrera, right through this season and next season, signed at 3.3, fits with the Tigers. Their budget's fine. Our budget's fine. This is just a deal. This is good old baseball trade. So thank you guys so much, Edward Cabrera, for your service. Thomas and Matos, welcome to the Boston Red Sox. Beautiful. Jumping back in to update you guys really quickly, it looks like Pete Crow Armstrong is going to accept his 4-year, $16 million contract, so we don't have anybody to worry about this year when it comes to arbitration, which is very, very nice. Just a quick update here. The offer's still the number one on Dalton Varsho. He can either go for short-term money and try and recash in a couple of years, or he can go back to the Blue Jays and just have another woeful season. And then I'm going after Jonathan India as that second baseman for us. I think just overall this guy's insane, and to have him as a backup, we can afford it. It's kind of silly money, but I think having him as a bench bat, he's adequate at second. He can play short. I don't love it there, but that's why we have Marcelo Mayer. Hopefully the game would recognize, or Tim Koo, our manager, would recognize that you probably want India only playing second or third, and you want Marcelo Mayer playing short when we want to rest Bo Bichette. Also, I probably should have just done a series with the Toronto Blue Jays because I seem to be getting a lot of them, but things are going well. Free agency is just kind of chugging along. That is not a good notification. Dalton Varsho accepting the Cubs offer over ours. Yes, I would like to stop simulating. Brian Abreu goes, okay, the Blue Jays signed Brady Singer for 6-year, $123. Where are they getting all this money? Oh, wait, Dalton Varsho didn't go there. Ryan Mountcastle goes to the Yankees. We hate to see that. Okay. Wow, there's so many starting pitchers available. Like, that's crazy. Anyway, Harrison Bader is the best outfielder. Hunter Renfroe, oh my goodness. Hello, all you familiar faces. Roster-wise, do we have, I mean, we've got Brian Reynolds, Pete Crow Armstrong, I guess, getting his full-time shot with Dominique Paniagua and Alex Verdugo, and then, yeah, I'm gonna want to sign one more outfielder. Brian Reynolds has got right field locked down. Pete Crow Armstrong, I mean, I do think deserves like a full-on shot at the starting gig. Like, that growth is great. He's only 25. The fielding's awesome. The speed is good. And he's just a all-around well-rounded bat. But I guess I may have to start thinking differently. I mean, I guess I could bring back Harrison Bader. It's just he had such an awful season. I don't know if I really want to bring him back. We've got Dylan Carlson here. Honestly, it looks pretty solid. I can't complain about it. The runs created is just horrible. He's great against lefties, but I don't need him to be good against lefties. He's a great fielder, too. Interesting to see that. No left fielders really of note. Hunter Renfroe, Mitch Haniger. We've got Edward Olivares, who seems to have some pretty good interest in him. Trace Thompson. I mean, we could bring in Trace. We've seen this guy be like really good for us, and batted 306, right? We traded for him. He was really good, and his runs created. Yeah, he's a runs created machine. So you know what? I think having him off the bench. I know he's 36. We could just give him a 1-year deal worth like $11 million. That's fine. We'll reassess the position next year. The 25 vision's not great, but just to be on the bench, and we give Pete Crow Armstrong the full-time gig at center field, right? Trace Thompson can play there. I don't want him to play there, but he could. We've got plenty of players that could play in a lot of places, but I think I'm going to give Trace Thompson an $11 million contract just to bring him back in. I know you guys are probably screaming at me, why aren't you re-signing Bader? I need runs created, and he just had an awful season, and I just don't see it getting better for him. Trace Thompson at least will continue to be able to hit, even if he can't run or field, or I don't know, is less durable. I mean, but you can see he's coming off a season best. Every year he gets over 400 at-bats. He's hitting 25 or more home runs. He's batting up close to 270 this season with Cleveland, 306. I mean, his WAR was 4.3. I don't expect that, but he's had a WAR in the threes every single season, and run created above the 7. Like, I think he's just a great simulation guy. Here's a major breaking news that kind of impacts us. The Tigers going all in on pitching, it seems like. They weren't satisfied with Edward Cabrera. They're going to go out and get Garrett Cole from the Yankees, straight up 1-for-1 for Brandon Woodruff. I mean, 2 years older, 1 overall better. I mean, he is still insane. 206 innings pitched and a 3.22 ERA, 182 strikeouts. But he's getting paid $36 million a year. It's Garrett Cole and Luis Matos. Okay, so actually the Yankees paid up to get rid of. Oh wow, the Yankees now have $90.96 million in budget available. Their starting pitchers are Carlos Rodon, Brandon Woodruff, Tyler Mahle. Okay, so it's still not the greatest. Brandon Woodruff, 194 innings pitched, 4.25 ERA, 3.6 WAR though, a pretty solid season. Really interesting to see the Luis Matos, because here's Garrett Cole making $36 million a season. Tigers, you're Detroit. What are you doing, guys? Don't be spending that kind of money. I gave you Cabrera. Come on, I gotta say I gave him the better deal here, right? Like, right? And then who else? Luis Matos, right? The outfielder. Yeah, I mean he's a solid outfielder, but really him? I just don't understand this trade. Like, am I missing something with Brandon Woodruff's? I mean, he's making 23.9, but like, I'd rather have the 23.9. So this isn't going to have any impact on us, but I just kind of thought it was cool. I haven't seen this before. I don't know if this was added in like an update or if we just are not far enough in the future for this to impact things. We qualified for the postseason, so it doesn't matter to us, but the Orioles have the worst odds. All right, here we go. Simulate the draft lottery. Okay, Oakland. Let's see if you guys can get Sean Murphy some help finally. All right, there's the simulated draft lottery, and it's the Reds. That's my dad's favorite team. Shout out Cincinnati. You guys are on an 11-game winning streak as of this, but holy smokes, did the Athletics get screwed. Oh my God, Oakland. Oh man, it's Oakland fans. I'm sorry. Things aren't going well in this universe or in real life for you, is it? Always love this update, guys. Nobody lost from our team in the Rule 5 draft. Last year, you guys absolutely killed me in the comment section. I still get comments on it this year that I lost guys in the Rule 5 draft, but not this year, not in MLB The Show 23. So looking good there. There we have it, guys. We got ourselves a backup middle infielder, Jonathan India, for 2 years at $22.4 million. We've got the money. We can do it. And he's a guy that I think I could flip easily. He's in the like mid to low 80s. He's really, really good when he plays, and should we have any kind of long-term injury, knock on wood, he could fit in, and I wouldn't feel that upset about it. And there we have it, guys. Our last free agency move is Trace Thompson signing to a 1-year, $11 million contract. Things are looking pretty good, and looking at our surplus is $25 million. Hopefully should be able to use that, leverage that somehow maybe next year with extensions and stuff too. I'm not sure if it actually works like that, but I mean, if our surplus, we should increase the budget so we can maybe overspend 1 year. I don't know. I don't know how that all works. Maybe it goes into our budget for next year. I'm not sure, but I'm happy with the team, guys. I really, really am. So we can probably simulate through the rest of the offseason. Oh, by the way, Harrison Bader went to the Cubs as well. So the Cubs assembling a pretty solid outfield. Well, the offseason has officially come to an end, and we are still looking pretty darn good. A little bit less on the power side of things, but first in contact, first in pitching. I love to see those. 26th in defense, 27th in speed. Not the greatest, but I'm happy to say that we do have quite a few players of interest this year, and some younger players to watch out for. Our starting pitchers, Marshall Ash, he's really the one that I'm looking for this year. As the fifth guy, Giancarlo Ramirez is probably going to slot back into the bullpen again like he did last year. I was happy with him in that role, and I think it's the best spot for him to really just the value on the contract. The bullpen, speaking of, was very good last year, so I'm certainly not going to mess with what worked. Houck, Alcala, Swanson, Almonte, and Loaizaga. We still have Archie Cox, Ray Thomason, already guys that are ready to make an impact soon, but not right away. The closing pitcher is Josh Hader. Aaron Luke looking pretty close to being ready. We've also got Alfonso Valle and Gustavo Ibanez. We can move these guys to Double-A, I believe, for now. That's not the important part, though. Henry Davis and Diego Cartaya are our two catchers we're rocking with this season. They're solid, right? They're not special by any means, right? They're not top catchers, as you can tell by our trade talks saying that they are ranked. We have the 13th ranked catcher, but I'll take that. Top half of the league. First baseman is Mac Jackson and Tristan Casas. You guys know I love me some Mac Jackson almost to a fault. His batting is just out of this world, and I'd like to see what Tristan Casas can do with the, you know, couple hundred at bats. I really think that it's finally time for him, and I hope in an update that his overall's gone up because he's been really good recently in real life. So second base, we got Gavin Lux and Jonathan India. I'm very satisfied with this 1-2 punch. Jonathan India, a little bit better hitter against righties, which I hope doesn't pull Gavin Lux out of the lineup. India is just kind of a better hitter, but overall Gavin Lux is the better player, so I wonder what they are doing there. We've got Rafael Devers. Rafi still killing it at third base. Shortstop, we got Marcelo Mayer backing up Bo Bichette. As you can tell, I'm kind of interested to see if we can get Marcelo Mayer to supplant Bo Bichette one of these days. In the outfield, and here's a question for you guys. Dominique Paniagua is an 80 overall. Look at that wheel, right? 71, 66, 62, 61, 50. Like, you look at Pete Crow Armstrong, very similar players minus the speed, right? The reaction here for Pete Crow Armstrong and the fielding is slightly higher, but should we be playing Dominique Paniagua out in left or out in center, right? Should he be getting the starting gig over Pete Crow Armstrong? He's only 20, he's 80. Do we want to give Pete Crow Armstrong a full run out, or do we want to maybe turn it over to Dominique Paniagua at 20 and see how he can do? I mean, he's really good. With some more development too, he's going to be an absolute stud. Pete Crow Armstrong right now is penciled in to be the starter at center field. Then we got Brian Reynolds out in right with Trace Thompson backing him up. So the outfield is set. Those are our 5. Dominique Paniagua and Trace Thompson are currently going to come off the bench if we need them to platoon. But Paniagua could supplant Pete Crow Armstrong out there in center. Pete Crow Armstrong would continue to be a solid bench player for us. I mean, he had 166 at-bats last year, batted .247. He's done a lot better every year, pretty much. His WAR was above 1. You know, he's almost a solid, you know, starter level when you get to 2. But I think the team looks really, really good. I'm very satisfied with what we're looking at and things for the future. I mean, nobody really to be concerned about dropping off anytime soon. A lot of young players on this roster too. So I'm very excited to see if this team without, you know, Pete Alonso, without Tariq Skubal for half the year, how we're going to do. I think we're still going to do great. I'm very excited for it. Let me know if you guys are excited for it down in the comments and help me out with some of these roster decisions. I love seeing the comments from you guys, and I love interacting with you. That's why I do this. So make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see some more, and I will see you guys in the next one.
This a free for all before we fall. This a free for all before we fall. Some L's, but I guess you can't win them all. Getting busy, been so busy, but always keeping